Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the Real Share Daily Huddle, where we are hanging out with, and we were actually talking a little bit before we got going, but Liliana Partida. She is our virtual extraordinaire nutritionist who has also birthed an amazing, amazing daughter who has been cooking me food. So between Travis and what he's been doing, and then your daughter is just an absolute, like I'm still in awe. In fact, I've and you know this, being my nutritionist, I've struggled the last month keeping the medication down and the food down. And she's been making me food, and this is Mongolian beef meatballs, fresh garlic, sesame oil. I mean, it goes on from there. So it's just so nice to be able to walk over to your kitchen, open your fridge, and have like this food that not only tastes incredible, it's also, Liliana approved. You've got it on keto. Ian's okay with it. So I'm doing exactly what I should be doing, but I'm eating like healthy comfort food. So I love you for your daughter.
Oh, thank you. She's a blessing for sure.
Yeah, she is. And you guys, the whole family looks alike, which, by the way, so can you help me organize this next Friday is happening?
Yeah, we'll get Annalisa and Alicia on and stuff like that. That'd be great.
Okay. And let me know too, because we also have an opportunity to have no sugar for Manfred, that they can come on. And I was thinking keeping it with Friday nutrition, lifestyle, and having the cooking. So I thought they would be great. And of course, Ian wants to be on because he is telling me, he goes, Michelle, that's the real share. You pulled everybody together and you shared everybody's genius, mine being over here with utilizing cannabis, also utilizing the serum. And then they had told me about methadone. And so I was able to put this together and get me on this treatment that is doing well. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You are so good. One thing that I love about you in this next chapter, but I love the fact that you're so good at being a navigator for people that are going through anything in life.
Yeah, well, the most important thing is to listen. And, that's one thing that I do well with my patients. We were just talking about, a lot of times because we are an alternative facility, a lot of times they're coming to us in their later stages, third or fourth stage cancers. They've had treatments and they've had surgeries. And so they're very depleted. And so again, as you well know, unless you have already prescribed to enjoying cooking or, even liking to cook, it's really a lot of work. And so I really want to meet my patients where their capacity is. Otherwise, they're just going to hijack themselves in the dream of wanting to do it, but then not being able to do it. And so, for me, it's navigating according to what they're willing to do within the parameters of really looking at this as a healing treatment, but allowing a little bit of flexibility so that they don't feel so restrictive that their diet becomes worse than their diagnosis.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do you help people that don't want to be, helped either? I think that's the hardest thing is people don't want to be fixed.
Yeah, well, that's when I take my nutritional hat off and I put my therapist emotional hat on. In fact, I had a patient the other day that, she came in for something different. She wanted to lose weight, but she did not want to cook. And she said that it was not a valuable use of her time. And so again, I understand that. And so again, we said, okay, how do we set her up in order for her to win? And so that's where we came in with, Annalisa cooking or other people that can provide these kind of foods for her. And so one of the things that we ended up doing in that nutritional session is we cut it completely in half and I switched it over and I did EVOX on her because it was just, I don't understand why I'm sabotaging myself. I start on these diets, I lose the weight, and then I just kind of slack off and I just kind of go right back into it. Same thing with patients with the immunity. I was talking to a lady today, and her husband died of leukemia. So, of course, she had all of the stress of caring for him. And then now she's got breast cancer. And so she's so depleted in terms of her ability, almost in a post-traumatic stress, like, oh, my gosh, I just went through that. I have no energy to even heal myself. And I was talking about what she's eating, and it's all really emotional-based food to make her feel happy in regards into that dopamine reward center, but at the same time, feeling shame and guilt that she's not really doing what she knows she needs to do. And so again, in those cases, we really need to come to the mindset of treating yourself as you would, as I've said so many times, your child if they were in the same situation. Like I said, well, if your child was in the same situation with their immune system, even though you don't like to cook, you would cook. Even though you don't want to do this, you would do it because you unconditionally love that person. So to get them really back on board with why are you doing what you're doing? Is it to get back to where you used to be? Because where you used to be got you to where you are. How do we, reprogram your mindset to recognize that, I want right action, which makes me coherent to my desired outcome of getting well. And when I don't do those action steps, then I'm in conflict. And when I'm in conflict, I will not heal. So I do a lot of emotional work. When I see that, I just, like I said, in that conversation that we had, I said, we got an hour. Great. As soon as she told me, I just practically want you to just fix my mind. It's my mind. And I'm like going, okay, well, I can't give you a piece of paper for that. So let's get you on my machine. Let's do some biofeedback and boom, boom, boom. And she said, everything that machine said to me was 100% accurate. And this was a very sophisticated, high-level businesswoman who's got 60-something employees, and with the stress of COVID and everything. And so that was awesome. So again, where do I need to go to get someone on board? It's where I listen and I move forward.
Okay, Liz just joined. She looks like she's like at a jail prison, like a lineup. Like,
yeah.
You look like you're just
Bad hair day. I'm Liz Schermerhorn. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Oh my God. Liz is like, okay, so Liz and I have been running together for 20 years now. Wow. And she gets roped into doing any of these like crazy things, but we both have the same passion around providing resources and tools to women. We both have been in the spot where it's not been pretty. It's been quite ugly.
Yes.
Truth be told, Liz is who I called when, she's literally who I call when you need that get out of jail free card.
Yes.
That's who you call.
Sure.
Like you have that one phone call out of jail. It's Liz who you call. But hey, Lizzie.
Hi. Sorry. Thank you for having me today.
All right. So this is the deal. My friend and I, my best friend, so we celebrate the same birthday too, 12 hours apart. And we both turned 50, right? And we both, although Liz, my kids were just telling me literally my butt like slid off. It just slid off the back of it was like there one day and gone. I lost 50 pounds. So my butt is just like nowhere to be found.
Wow. 50 pounds.
But Liz, that's one thing. She's got the cutest, like Argentina, like her butt.
Oh no. We're not discussing this on.
I was with her in Vegas. And so she's showering and I get in there and I could not help but stare because her butt, it was not even like I looked at it and I'm like, how is it even possible? I could literally fit a TV tray on top of her ass. That's how
That's
cute.
Terrible.
Like this cutest little butt. But it wasn't so little, Liz. It was big. It's big butt.
Sorry about this conversation.
All right. So I am sharing with you one of my special gifts, Liz Schermerhorn, and I'm sharing with you Liliana Partida, who took me 9 months to find her. 9 months, literally, to find my beautiful nutritionist. And you know what I'm giving you? You know what for your birthday? Liliana.
That's awesome. Liliana, I hear amazing things about you. So I'm excited about today's show.
She comes with a tribe. She has sisters too. And a daughter, her sister, she has seven or six sisters. Seven sisters, right? That's the one that I met when I was in Mexico. And so I'm going to have them all on. Liliana's going to organize it, but I'm going to have her sister in Mexico, who literally I'm in Mexico. We're on the water. The waves are crashing in. She's there like combing her hair that's down to her, speaking of butt again. and she's like telling me, and she literally, I'm like, you're what they refer to as like a divine goddess. I mean, so then I meet Liliana at the New Center for Medicine. She is behind the counter. I'm sitting down and I see this woman go by that looks exactly like her sister. Exactly like her sister. So then I get up and what did I do? Liliana, what happened?
It's like, hey, you, I know you.
I'm like, you look exactly, they look literally the same. And her sister's the funniest thing ever, Liz. She basically,
That's so awesome. Well,
okay,
I have a sister that was supposed to be on this call, and she probably still will. I love my little sister. So, but I wasn't blessed with 7. I can't imagine what I would have done with 7 sisters. I have 1.
Yeah, we definitely have a tribe. That is for sure.
So you've learned to play well in the sandbox with other women.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and to have the loudest voice so that I could be heard, right?
so Liz, her sister shows up. I meet her sister and she's at the healing center and she walks in and she looks like she just walked out of like this magazine of like international like goddess extraordinaire. I'm not even joking. It's the funniest picture ever. Eric showed me a picture yesterday because we were talking with your daughter who looks, I mean, these women are like drop dead gorgeous. So come to find out and talking with your daughter, they all lived in Hawaii together. And then they were like, she was like, yeah, can you imagine these 7 goddesses and the men in Hawaii? I mean, just were like completely like taken back by these, goddesses. I mean, it was
That's
so
awesome. Hopefully you don't all hit the beach at one time.
Oh yeah, I think he's exaggerating just a little bit, but
I'm not.
For a while, we definitely ruled that island for sure, right?
So Lizzie, I can't wait. So we're gonna have this next show. We're gonna be like, bring your sisters, and then
Yes.
I'll have like the sisters come in, but have the sisters with all these generations. And so here you have these women. I mean, when I was in Mexico, learned how to do the all take the vitamins. I mean, I literally went on that healing treat. You saw all the different stuff I was doing. And then she kept saying over and over, you have got to meet my sister. You are going to love meeting my sister. So with that, I want to tell you why. And I went to 45 doctors. I literally went all up and down. 45 doctors, then all the wellness providers, everything. So my favorite, and I said this to you after I worked with you for a little bit, but I'm like, oh my God, Liliana, I go, you are like, she's the brightest nutritionist that I have ever like encountered. And I interviewed, basically all of Orange County and virtually. And so I'm going to share her with you, but it's like, we're going to put her as one of the superheroes. And again, every Friday you'll have a chance to hear, what she's, can answer just different questions. And so that's where I want you to talk to her, Liz, about your challenges because they're mine. I mean, this whole autoimmune issue, I mean, it's the same stuff that I was dealing with prior to getting cancer. Is she able to get in? Is your sister?
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. So I just
remind me to put someone else in charge of booking.
Yes, for sure. No, I sent it to her like an hour and a half ago, but she just asked. She goes, I may be a few minutes late. But
okay.
So did you want me, Michelle, to just kind of share a little bit about like my autoimmune condition and
just share what you and I were talking about, because you had said to me, and you've been saying this to me every single week, is I need a nutritionist. I am not feeling good. And just say how you've been feeling. I just want you to talk about how you feel, not so much about the whole past, but how are you feeling?
Sure. So I think for me, I just feel a tremendous amount of fatigue, kind of with everything I do, just from waking up in the morning. You've got that foggy brain. It takes hours to wake up and a lot of caffeine to get you there. Sure, caffeine's the problem, I know. But I've not accomplished getting rid of the caffeine. So I have Hashimoto's. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's a few years ago. And so I do have a thyroid condition. When you go to the doctors, they run the blood panels and they're like, you're great. You don't need thyroid medication. But at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. My brain just isn't what it used to be. For some things, I'm super alert. Others, I'm forgetting. I've got that foggy brain. I had a girlfriend who had a thyroid issue, and she'd call it monkey brain, where you struggle with that focus and that clarity that you used to have, and you were so sharp. So I think for me, it's more of I have so many desires, and I want to execute. and it's like trying to turn the gas on and you can hear it clicking, but it doesn't turn on. And that's kind of what's going on with my body. And so but I felt the change 14 years ago. I mean, I can remember, 14 years ago, August, it was like, boom, it hit me.
Right.
So that's kind of where I am today. I just noticed that my brain isn't functioning like it used to. Yet what I do for a living, I'm asked to be on it, and I'm still keeping up, but it's stressful because I have to worry about like, okay, how tired am I going to be? How many hours do I need to sleep? Do I really need to do those 2 shots of espresso? I'm sorry, you're a nutritionist. I'm sure that's
okay.
awful to your ears.
No, it's okay. No, absolutely. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you right off the bat, there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel, because I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's about, let's say, 6 years ago, and I have completely reversed it. And so it is a reversible issue, even though the doctors will say it's not reversible. All autoimmune disorders are 99.9% stress. Okay. And so one of the things that's really important is that we don't know if it's the horse or the cart that came first, but you've got to have to deal with your gut, because your gut is going to create. So when you have Hashimoto's, you automatically are going to be gluten intolerant right off the bat. So that's going to, if you continue to eat gluten, it's going to still break down your thyroid. Just understand that there's a thyroid receptor site on every single endocrine organ in your entire body. And that's why you're feeling so exhausted, because there's an imbalance going on there, regardless if they look at your labs. Now, when I look at labs, we look at a variety of things. We look outside the box. Are you lacking iodine? Because iodine is essential to convert the inactive thyroid to the active thyroid. It's super important that you detox the body and have your heavy metals checked as well, because again, it kind of cuts the circuitry on a chemical level. And so a lot of detoxification needs to be looked at. And then also your gut, what we call the permeability of the gut, because 99% everyone with Hashimoto's has a leaky gut syndrome, meaning that their internal cell wall has become permeated, and now little particles that should not be in your bloodstream go in there. You get food sensitivities, and your immune system becomes hyperactive, and it creates an inflammatory cascade. And then so it's really important to kind of just say, I need to look at the whole picture, because when it comes to the thyroid, with the Hashimoto's, the emotional aspect of that is a situation of stress that potentially you weren't able to speak your truth, and it gave you emotional indigestion. And then to begin the weakness of the organ system that's associated to the emotion. So the thyroid is all about the ability to speak my truth and be heard, rather than to have to swallow it back and nothing gets resolved. So again, we look at the whole picture in regards to, the emotional component, to the organ system, to getting rid of the gluten in the diet, and looking at dairy as also a crossover as well. What blood type are you?
That I don't know.
Okay. And so then I look at the primal blueprint of who you are in regards of what foods your immune system will be creating for activity.
Really quick, just to add to that, I want to talk about the blood type, because that was one of the things I had to go back and get the blood type that I was, and actually thought it was 2 separate things. It's actually B.
Oh, B blood type instead of A. That's better anyway. Good.
Well, now actually I'm confused if it's, you know what? Let me double check, because did I tell you I was A? Because I was B, and then I went over to A positive.
Well, no, you told me when you talked to me A blood type.
Okay, then I am A. Okay. And Lizzie, do me a favor, turn off that the sound. Do you know how, or we can leave it for next time?
Yeah.
I meant to tell you that the other day.
Yeah. So you want me to mute until
No. Keep your sound on. I'm talking about your alerts.
Oh, yes. It's gone.
We're one of the classes that we're actually going to do is just because now we're a world now that got trained on doing Zoom calls and setting it up. And so I'm actually going to do a whole class, and we're going to do a Zoom call just on etiquette for Zoom.
I need 101.
Wouldn't that be, I think everybody does.
We all do.
But having said that, though, the cool thing is that people's dogs barking in the back or doing stuff, nobody even cares now. It's kind of a little bit different of, like, okay, it's okay. So hence my comment. So I want to go back to blood type. I do think I am A, but you can go ahead and get your blood type literally by sending, through Amazon. And one of the things that we're doing with the Real Share is setting it up so that everything surrounding your well-being and putting you through career, physical, financial, social, community. And so what's going to happen is what we had talked about. So we're taking 20 individuals. We're doing a pilot. We actually start on Monday, and we're having everybody go through where they do the assessments. And I will quote Rose Tafoya, who just did it, who is been with me for 20 years. She says, this is the best assessment for focusing on the 5 to thrive. So career, physical, financial, social, community, doing the assessments. And then what we're doing is we're actually matching it with our directory Made with Love and all the superheroes. I thought, you know what? I need one for myself in order to get through this healing, opportunity in this journey that I've had. Might as well make a superhero team for the planet, which is what I did. And so we're taking that group and then matchmaking. So we are literally going to be matchmaking wellness providers with individuals for what they need. I'm going to you poor little thing. It's so hard. I have a hard time with that too, because I have to go in. There's a couple things I need to do as well.
Yeah, I got to figure that out, but sorry.
So put it on the to-do list, and we'll let it ride for this one. And then I will do a class and you can be on it. So what we want to have happen though, is with this third-party testimonial. So we have an opportunity to capture video, and then I am setting up all these different channels on this massive network. So it's everything from the California Women's Conference to Dear Jane and then the Real Share being this connectivity. And so we're pulling all these women's organizations together. We're doing an assessment, talking about what their needs are, what resources do they have, how do they show up in the world, what's their genius, and then joining these geniuses together with individuals, that need this expertise. And one of the things that happened, that's been happening, and Liliana has heard me talk about this, is on average, over 10 people a week are reaching out, and the emails are just, I'm not dead yet. I want to be on this planet. I've got stage 4 colon cancer. I heard about your story. What do I do? And what's so exciting about all of this is that we don't have to wait. We can actually set up our life right now to have it be optimal, with this Real Share process, and us leaning in to each other and then sharing what we know. Best friend to best friend, family to family. And it's saying, okay, here's, it took me 9 months to find Liliana, but here's who I went to. And then for you, Liz, to say, hey, you know what? Something that really worked for me, when I was, joining, this community, with your church, as you met Shannon. And then here you introduced me to Shannon, and all of their gifts. I mean, that was, I felt like I found a friend for life. And I feel like these trusted advisors and what we're pulling together and having it be where the way that they are, the way that we're engaging is we're coming back with the Real Share and providing an all access pass. So you get an all access pass to the people who are part of my wellness team family, who lifted me up. And what I want to do is I want to provide it for free for the rest of this year. I mean, do it literally for our birthday year.
Sounds great. Yeah.
There you go. I'm gonna unmute you. I gotta unmute you. So
that's a gift. That's a gift for everybody. So
yeah, that could be then where we're giving a gift back, and have these companies out there again promote it. But what we're giving back is just, hey, here is a way to have access, to these. To these individuals that need it. And so I feel like with you and I and Liliana, I think one thing that we do, because we ask for the help and we ask for the support. So we practice what we preach, and we're saying, hey, I go to you when I need help and need support. You come to me when you need help. And this is what we're sharing. And so with that, I want to go back into what other resources, what are some things, Liliana, what do you think too? Because what has always concerned me with Liz is that she's tired.
Yeah.
She gets tired easily.
Right. And so usually you have to understand that every organ system is paired up with another organ system. So the thyroid and the adrenals are married to each other. So we'd have to support her adrenal glands in order to arrest the thyroid. We have to support the immune system by not exposing them to food sensitivities that overacts the system. We have to watch how she is expressing and coping with stress. Is she just coping, or is she actually stepping back away and not engaging and not allowing the outer world to affect her inner world? All of these things are crucial in what we would consider a platform for healing. And so even simple things like juicing is not great for thyroid and Hashimoto's issues because they're juicing a lot of what we call the goitering foods, the dark leaf, heavy greens. Well, that's contraindicative of Hashimoto's. So again, I've been, it's just like
what's something because I love Liliana because she's probably the only person that is, I think goes faster than I go.
about the same speed.
I'm like, all right. So literally I got like 1/10 of what you just said. So something for Liz that she could do, just as a process, because she's like I am. She's been a CEO.
Yeah.
She's under a lot of stress. She's a mom. She's, working all these hours. So she literally is like me where I'm not an expert in this. I don't want to know all about it, but I do want to know that it's personalized for me.
Right.
And so when she should tell me the process she should go through.
Well, the process would be, for example, if she was my patient, the first thing I want to do is get information. So I would run things like, how is her iodine level? Now, she can do a very simple test at home where she gets some Nasset iodine from the health food store or Lugol's iodine, and then just makes a large kind of a silver dollar circle on her wrist. And then you notice how long it took for your body to absorb it. If you are lacking iodine, it will be absorbed in before 24 hours. If it's still there 24 hours later, you're perfectly fine and you do not need to have iodine. Now, the problem with if you lack of iodine also is indicative of breast fibrotic tissue that could later lead to cancer in the breast. So we want to be very, on top of that. So that's something that's simple test that she can do at home. The other simple test that she could do is take a mercury thermometer, because she said, okay, I do the test and basically they're telling me I'm within range, but I feel like crap. I really feel, that I've got, this fatigue. So she's got a hypothyroid, right? And so she can take a mercury thermometer, and for 10 minutes prior that she gets up out of bed, that she just checks her temperature for 10 minutes. If it's low functioning, it will be below 97. If it's normal, then it would be 98 and above, like just say 70, 78 and above or something of that nature, right? Or 97 and above. So that's a really easy kind of thing. So, they're telling me it's functioning well, but I feel like crap. I have no energy. I have foggy thinking. That's all telling me right there that she's got a leaky gut issue, that we need to support her adrenal glands, and we need some more information.
Doesn't she sound very similar to me? I mean, in a lot of ways too, before. I mean, with the whole leaky gut. So one of the things that Liliana had me do is, I'm thinking about how you had me go see Molly.
Yes.
And she was able to go ahead and do a whole testing on me and find out that I had severe candida, as well as now we're looking at parasites. And what was so awesome, you guys, is that I literally wake up now in bed and I don't have, like before I used to wake up, just my whole left side, it would be aching. And one of the joys of being a year out now of the diagnosis and eating better and cleaning out my body and doing all these things. And what you've been telling me, Liliana, is I just don't have that same aches and pains. And you hear that with individuals that are, suffering from cancer.
Yeah. And also autoimmune, you're going to get joint issues. And so it starts to attack the cartilage. So we would do assessment. Remember I did the LSA on you, the limbic stress assessment, which is a biofeedback, which very quickly I can see it's kind of like Molly's test, right? The cancer cascade. And so there's many tests that we can do that are non-invasive and blood tests, or, we check the biome of the gut, what's going on. So
and one of the things I wanted to also, because we have you as part of the Made with Love directory that we've got through the Real Share. And so individuals that are part of our community, they come in and they have access, to Liliana at, really that access point where nobody has access like we have access. And I mean, it's, you get the family and friends. Hey, Mary, just going. You get, I'm going to actually mute it a little bit. Okay, there we go. I'm telling you, your sister and you, the laugh.
See her Bobcat.
Sister.
Between the dog, when I go over there, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like.
There's a lot going on, babies, dogs.
As long, Lizzie, as by next time we figure out a quiet spot, and then we go ahead and we put the dog where we need to go. All right. So Liliana, I want to go back to you though, is because what I'm so excited is that the pass through is directly to the members. And so what we're setting up is something where you can have access. So that way you'll be able to see, Liz, exactly what I did. It's like I have a WTF moment where I'm given a diagnosis. I have 90 days to live. I mean, I laugh about it now, but at the time it was like, all right, I am going to do the very best. My 20 years of resources and doing this California Women's Conference, all this, it's now, I'm up to bat. It's now my time and I'm getting up to bat. And then it's like, okay, who do I go to? And like I said, 45 doctor's appointments later, I come across this woman from my nutritionist. And so what's going to happen is part of the membership, and we're looking at the overall well-being, is that you have an opportunity, first go through your assessment, then talk about, what resources do you need? Because my feeling is that with women in particular, these rock star women, I mean, we've been going strong, for you and I, 50 years. We just celebrated 50th birthday. We've been going strong. And now we're at the point where we just need a little extra help when it comes to our sleep, pain, stress, anxiety, just a little extra support that would make us feel better.
Yes.
So that's that mindset. And I want to go ahead and unmute Mary, but she is gone. Okay. So let's go back to Liliana. And I want to say too, we can go ahead and take a question from Mary as well when she comes back. But Liliana, I want to give you an opportunity to explain to Liz, but that's what we're doing, is putting together a wellness package where we can life hack, this process. Because for me, I mean, Liliana will tell you, I mean, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, is come up with a wellness team family that could help me through this period of time where I was in flight and fright. I mean, it took a village. It literally took an army, and I know, had I not done that, I would not physically be here today. I mean, I wouldn't. And so that's my biggest thing is being able to introduce you not only to Liliana, but actually let's complete the circle. And that is, let's have it where you are creating, Liz, your personal advisory team. And I know I'm part of your advisory team.
Yes.
Definitely with this Real Share. I'm excited because I think Liliana is going to make a great addition to your advisory team. And then we put the pieces together so that you have a team of individuals that can answer the 5 to thrive. It can talk about career, physical, financial, social, and community. And then we come together and you build your tribe. And it's like I've been talking about, and drew this out. I didn't know. And when my band of brothers gave this to me, this is the flower of life. And so to me, it's the glue. The Real Share is bringing all of these geniuses, it's all of these happy cells together and celebrating each other and just helping each other. No judgment, no fear tactics. We're looking at, this is what I would want to provide my family. This is the deal that I would want for my, sister, for me, and I look at it this way. If I could go ahead and toss it up in the air, and whatever lands amongst, us, that it's the best, it's the best deal, because it's the best deal that I would have wanted for you as it is for me, and dollars are scarce. I mean, we're looking at, how can we collectively come together and really 10x ourselves and say, you know what, we are better together. I mean, and we truly can show up and not have to feel like we're doing it all ourselves.
Right.
And I think what's important too is sometimes as women, we start to feel, I don't know, Michelle, if you felt like something was wrong in your body, but I can tell you that in the last probably 24 months, there's something going on. And no matter what doctor I go to, no matter what blood work I run, no matter what ultrasound they look at, they're like, everything's great. Well, but our bodies tell us different. We know. And so what I love is we get busy, we've got a family, we've got work. And so we go, all right, well, I'll take this to feel better. I'll take some Motrin, but why? Or whatever it is that you're taking to just get through versus going and finding a wellness team. And I think sometimes it's kind of scary or you don't even know where to go. So I love, Michelle, that you're bringing this to the table, that you're bringing Liliana, because it's nice that people go, okay, so this has been tested. Wait, these people are real. That there's results for my condition, like all about Hashimoto's. What a great tool to not have to start trying trial and error, which could be doctor after doctor, right?
And can I share with you guys, the beauty of this is what's happened is we are actually capturing all of this based on videos, and we're matchmaking you with your illness. So the individual that is having this challenge with sleep, pain, anxiety, stress, I mean, any of those areas that really leave us this life that is not an optimal life. I mean, I've shared this with you guys. I feel better today than I have felt my whole life. And so to answer your question, Liz, I mean, I was feeling so much pain and I would keep just charging ahead. And I kept lying to my body. Every time I told my body I was going to take a break, I was going to rest, and I wasn't. I would just go on to that next project. And then I would build up resentment because I was angry because I felt like others should notice that I needed the rest, or maybe, that I need a break because I wasn't giving myself a break because I didn't really, wasn't showing up 100% for myself and what I needed. And the act of doing this and actually putting together your own needs assessment, with the resources and the tools that we have. I mean, bar none, the resources that I pulled together around the planet are the best resources available to us. And the reason why I know that is because I'm hearing from individuals speaking from their truth, firsthand knowledge of their experience, working with this person. And those are the people I'm bringing on. They are not, paying me, to say good things about them at all. I mean, it's like, what, this information is something that if I believe that I am going to get so much great value because I have for myself and just sharing what I know. I mean, so much so I was able to uncover a protocol, through Ian in Germany that Liliana introduced me so that Dr. Keneally could be the doctor who writes the prescription. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it truly is beautiful. And the days of doing this as an independent individual family and being a wellness provider for your family, which we are 93% of the consumer is the wellness provider. And so for me, if we can go ahead and get organized, and we can start pulling together what we are needing and start doing what you're doing, Liz, and just sharing, it's like, hey, you know what? This is how I'm feeling. This is the problems I'm having. And we can go ahead and make that match and bring in Liliana. I mean, we win every single time. Every single time.
One thing Liz said is that, she's been feeling there's just something not quite right. And all these labs are saying, okay, and then what ends up happening is, it's all in your head, right? But the body keeps a score. It's just going to do that. And it's going to have cellular memory of all of the stress that you put it through. And its capacity to cope becomes smaller and smaller. And what happens is that when you have a moment where you're actually resting, that's where the deficiency happens. This is like a lot of us have experienced having a tremendous amount of stress that we had to endure. And then we get a cold after the stress is over with, right? Because the immune system's not coping. So the body holds that score. So it's really important that, Liz, you say, okay, they're telling me everything's okay, but I intuitively know something is not right. So now I've got to go to someone who's willing to step outside the box and start looking at my gut and looking at parasites and looking at candida. I mean, what is taking her energy is what we've got to look at. Is it Epstein-Barr virus, which is so predominant? I'd say it's like 90% of the population has it. You've got to kill the viruses that are taking your energy. Oftentimes, those are the bugs that are really basically sucking your nutrients out and then end up, excreting their waste products and making us acidic and toxic and stiff and sore. So it's important that you really listen to your body. You say, intuitively, I feel there's something not right, but these doctors really aren't wanting to, or do they even know how, traditional medicine? I need to find a team of doctors and people who are willing to, kind of push the edge a little bit, be forerunners and do things that maybe is not totally standard AMA, structure, but still within the guidelines, obviously.
Right. Yeah. I'm grateful to be talking to you because it sounds like you've beat Hashimoto's and I've heard many have. So it's just a matter of taking the time, taking that step back and saying, I know work is there, I know family's there, but if I'm not around or I'm not healthy, how am I supposed to support everybody? So, and I think that's the key, is just taking care of ourselves. And as women, we have so much going on. Sometimes we forget that we need to take care of ourselves so we could take care of everyone else.
Right.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we're going to be doing too in our Made with Love directory, so excited, it'll be ready next month.
I love that name.
That's so awesome. It's totally made with love. It's everything on the planet that is just optimal. It's made with love. It's by love, for love, with love. And it's resources and thought leaders, just this wisdom and great, great information. And then we'll also have how utilizing the Real Share, having this all access pass, is that then by being part of our tribe and being part of our million women, is that we collectively come together. And so you'll have an opportunity to work with Liliana at, again, family and friends rate. It's, it's what I get, in setting this up. And so that's what we're doing, is really sending this back and creating this way where it's manageable for everybody. I mean, I think the days of having it be where we're not supposed to ask the questions and we're supposed to go to a doctor and have one doctor are over. I mean, it truly takes an entire team of us to work together. I mean, that's how I was able to get through it. And I think too, Liliana would say that as well, is you went out there and you went after it, to have this information.
Yeah.
And
I used myself as a personal experiment. I mean, honestly, it's just like, there's things that you can do to even arrest the immune system for any autoimmune disorder by, taking a vial of your blood, spinning it and putting ozone in it and re-injecting into, the muscular part of the glutes. And that completely arrests, after so many treatment, it arrests all autoimmune disorder. So, we can just basically say to ourselves, do not live with a lower quality of life just because. And that we do have to meet our own personal needs, because who will even know how to meet our needs if we don't do it ourselves? Just like what you were saying, Michelle, you're working your butt off and you're just kind of hoping that somebody will notice it, bring you a glass of water, or, have dinner ready when you're home because you've just worked your butt off. Well, bottom line is that if we don't do or ask, it won't happen. Period.
True.
Yeah. And I think too, what's nice about what we're doing is, again, having it be, this playground. I mean, having boundaries, having, whatever, again, is going to bring you optimal joy. And you both know I've been on this crusade for this last year. It's everything that's going to bring me 100% joy. Anything that doesn't, okay, you don't get to be on the playground. No bullies allowed. I was saying, no a-holes. I mean, that's the rules, including myself. I think oftentimes, we are hardest on ourselves. And so making it that, this mindset of making a commitment and going through this and putting together your wellness team family, where it's, all of these 5 areas. So you've got, career, and it's how you're spending your time. And a lot of times people think, oh, well, does that mean, if I'm retired, I can't? No, it's how you spend your time. What are you doing with that passion that you have and that excitement for life? And again, those are the happiest people when they are on task with what lights them up and fills them up. You've got physical. We've talked a lot about that. And my feeling is that it does start with physical. If you aren't feeling good, you're not going to be able to do the things that you want to do.
Exactly. I mean, one of the beautiful quotes that I read out of Wallace Wattles' book, and it was The Science of Getting Rich, was he said, don't entertain any idea that's contrary to your desired outcome. That's huge.
I
love that
again, because I think that's so important.
It says, don't entertain any idea that's contrary to your desired outcome in anything. Okay. And so it's just like, wow, it just hit that directly on the nail. It's like we waste so much time and thought that doesn't benefit any benefit, but can create a whole, this shower of chemicals of stress and anxiety and fear and overwhelm. It's like, why are we entertaining these thoughts? What benefits do they have in our goal of vitality, our goal of joy, right? And so it's really quite interesting when you can take a look at it and own it. And I always say, if we leave room for our imperfections, it allows us opportunity to continue to grow, And that mindset is, I'm coming from a place of humility. We all want to come from that place of humility to look at ourselves. Nobody's perfect, and and when we get onto the mindset of a critical voice about what we should do or how we have to do it, I tell my patients, if they do things with the mindset that I have to, I should, I'm responsible, they expect, then they should step back and never agree to do anything before they step back and ask their body, how do I feel, before I answer yes? Because your body will tighten up when it's kind of going, I'm not sure. But then we go, yes. And then we get home and go, oh my God, now I can't go for my walk or do my workout because I committed myself to do this because they really needed my help. Well, you just basically, if you were a mama bear to yourself, you just basically told your kid, they're someone else is first, not you.
Wow. That's powerful. And I think we constantly are doing things that maybe we don't want to do.
All the time. Right? Yeah. Well, we get into this people-pleasing mindset. We need to show up the way we think that they need us to. And then we get in a box and then we don't know how not to, because they just think it's our pleasure to kill ourselves sometime for them, right? And it's creating healthy boundaries, but a lot of us don't know. I mean, I didn't know what a healthy boundary was because I had 11 brothers and sisters, one bathroom, two doors. So there was either someone brushing their teeth and going poo-poo at the same time and taking a bath at the same time. There was no boundaries, right? So it took me a while to really understand what that meant, because I'd say yes to everything, and all of a sudden I had 3 different girlfriends I was supposed to go out with that night. And oh my God, what am I going to do?
Right?
You know what I mean?
don't want to disappoint, but you yourself.
Yeah, because I was younger, I'd be like, yes. And I'm like, okay, either we're all going to have to go together because this one's mad because I said yes to that one, right? So it's just like really having healthy boundaries is so important. And so many people don't know what that looks like.
So I think too, we ignore our gut feeling about things, right? So sometimes have you ever met somebody or went to an interview for a job and you got your answer right then and there? You got that gut feeling. For me, it's the Holy Spirit. I believe in God, and I believe the Holy Spirit sometimes goes, not here, Liz. And it's a great offer. It's a great opportunity. But yet I've already been warned that this isn't where I'm supposed to be. And I think when we go against that, and we go against that grain and that gut, then our bodies don't want to be there. Yeah. And so it makes us sick. It causes strain. It causes stress. It causes you feel unhappy maybe going to that place or that relationship. And you keep doing it and you don't, why? For money or for whatever it is. Yes, you've got to provide for your family, but I think we live in a great country with a lot of opportunity. I think sometimes we should really listen to our gut and believe when it says, hey, this isn't a good place for you. And I'm not saying it's not a good place for others. It's just not a good place for us and our spirits.
Right.
And when we force things, that's what physically makes us sick. And I believe that that's why I'm so tired. Because I've exposed myself to places that I didn't need to be, to unneeded stress and constant compromise and not knowing how to say no, wanting to say yes to the 100 things and then being short of breath and not feeling well. My chest is tight. Why? Because I shouldn't have been doing all those things. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. So
Yeah.
thanks for
No,
sharing.
I would
Do
agree
you
with
think
you
you
100%.
listen now? Well, tell me what because I've known you for 20 years, Liz, do you feel like you listen now to your body? Because that was one of the biggest things I had to really stop. And it wasn't until I, literally went in for stage 4 that it just stopped me in my tracks. And so now when my body does ache or something is happening, if I just stop and breathe into it and maybe stretch and listen, I actually can feel it. I mean, that's why I was able to tell Dr. Greg Anguis, it's like, oh no, we're right on the right track. Cancer stopped growing. I mean, he was like, wow. And I said, that's the gift that I've got is now I trust my gut. I can literally, it's like an extended body part for me is I've literally learned how to listen in. And I believe that our body, mind, soul, spirit does work collectively together. I feel like it absolutely comes together and really harmonizes, to the point where we do feel those pieces. And so tell me now how you feel.
So I'm kind of in an interesting place, and it's we're all over on this video, so a lot of it's kind of personal. But during COVID, there was a pretty large crash in the mortgage industry and the alternative markets. Our securitization markets were a little broken on the alternative sector, and we came to a complete halt. My division closed, and I was laid off with my team. Well, what is Liz Schermerhorn supposed to do? She's supposed to find a new place, take the team there. Let's go, let's go, let's go, because that's what the world expects me to do. And I kept hearing, I need you to be quiet and I need you to be still. And I'm hearing that from God, right? I was short of breath, went into the ER probably 4 weeks before the market crashed and COVID came along. And they couldn't find anything wrong. I went to Mission, nothing's wrong. Since then, I've developed slight asthma, but I truly believe that the stress got to me. But what do I feel? I feel the pressure of, well, I have an entire sales team and I have some ops people and they're counting on me. But right now, there's not a lot of places you can call home. We need to let the dust settle. We need to figure out where's a good place for us, because sure, we could all take a job somewhere quickly, but what's best for all of us? In the meantime, I had to lose my
For your overall, and I think that's so important, Liz, and I think that's something to point out is what you're doing is you're making decisions for your overall well-being. It's not something that's so short-sighted. It's not something I'm going to put myself into this and it's going to increase my stress level. When you start making decisions based on being in that sweet present moment right now, what happens is you're not living in the past with an old programming and paradigm. You're not living in the future. You are living in that sweet present, like right now, this moment, and saying, okay, what is it that I need? That's how, when you start listening into your body, because your body tells you, I mean, right away, it never ceases to amaze me is that when I do spend time and I really, really set into it and really watch to listen what it's saying, it's literally telling me to the point where the pain actually dissipates completely. It like completely goes away. And that's what I feel like with what you're doing is you're not just jumping into a situation, but you're also not over analyzing it and you're taking action.
But it's not easy to do, right? It's not easy to give up. And I just wanted to point out that I have a partner of 20 years that's been with me, Raquel, my account manager from New Century, and she had to take a job. So I had to part ways. It was crushing. But I just know, and I've lost sales reps too that have had to move on. I just know that we'll meet again. But the next platform that I bring them to and that I bring myself to is going to be a good one. And hopefully maybe the place we retire. And so I think for me to be still and be quiet and lose some things that I truly love and think I can't live without, God is showing me new things. And I'm working from home. I am And I have a huge pipeline of loans that I'm able to assist brokers in placing with the knowledge and expertise that I have. And I do it from my desk. I get to see my elderly mom that I hadn't seen in 10 weeks, my little daughter. And it's simple. It's a simple life. It's not that crazy.
Well, that's why, you know what I think is going to happen. You're going to be helping me build this army of wellness providers and then being matchmaker and helping. I mean, every day we turn around, you bring these women to me that need resources. And so I think that's what's going to happen is we're connecting individuals, with the Lilianas, with these subject matter experts that are out there, and having, everybody should have a life where they're living 100% all out, no hold bar. I mean, I'm living proof of it. My best life has been this past year, and it's because I haven't settled at all. It's not okay for me not to have, a totally, loving relationship with my husband. It's like, I'm going to work at it. It's not okay for me just to be okay not feeling good. It was like, no, I'm going to feel like I am thriving, not surviving, but thriving. And that's where I feel like, for me, it's you represent, we talked about only 7% of the population is, celebrating, happiness. It's when they're doing those 5 areas: career, physical, financial, social, community. Social is the people that you hang out with. And that's what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be helping build up your tribe so that in each of those 5 areas that your needs are being totally met, that you have the resources to be able to go ahead and do the mission that you have to be on the planet and do the things you want to do. But if you're not feeling good, if you're not feeling healthy, I mean, you're no good to yourself. You're no good to your family. I mean, it's, to me, I think you're really, that's the starting point. And that's why for me, this is so important, is to make this connection, to have Liliana and set her up, if not her, somebody, but I of course want to share you.
Yeah. Great. I want to make a little comment. She said that, with all of the stress, she's holding the weight, and just kind of think about where she said she's holding the weight because it makes her so sad. She had an anxiety attack, but it felt like a heart attack. Okay. And then I got asthma, which is I can't breathe. Like, this is suffocating me, this mindset. And so just kind of really, as she said before, her intuition is the Holy Spirit speaking through her. And it's really important for us to trust and not to second guess. And when we are in that mindset of, okay, I feel like it's a heart attack, but all I need to do is, like what you said, breathe into it, do some parasympathetic breathing, in for a count of 3, hold, and then out for a count of 6. All of a sudden, the whole parasympathetic nervous system starts to kind of calm down. And then I can, get back inside my body rather than being ahead of myself, trying to figure out how I'm going to pull all this puzzle together. So I always say,
that. I love that you said, like, stay with your body. Don't get ahead of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so
I
important.
think sometimes we're so close to it that we absolutely need just to have, a trusted advisor. I mean, that's what I love about working with the Wellness Team family and with you, Liliana, is because it's this mindset of just like, hey, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've dealt exactly with what you are upset about. I've dealt with firsthand, personally. And I went on this crusade to figure out how to get through it. And this is what I found. And it worked. Yeah. That's why you're passionate about what you do, Liliana, is because you want to tell everybody about it. I mean, this woman, she's like, she doesn't care, how she makes money, she just wants to share the fact that she has this gift. So I want to say thank you to both of you for sharing. And let's rock it out this last bit, and a little bit of a teaser. You guys are going to be seeing, we're going to be starting doing our dance-a-thon, and we have Liz who's going to be co-hosting, and hopefully Liliana is going on, and we're just going to literally have like a whole hour of dance.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Sound awesome.
That and that heals the body, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right?
And we're going to ask people what time they want it and everything. But I thought, you know what? 1 hour of just us. All we're going to do is like dance. That's it.
Excellent. That sounds like fun.
I already have 15 recruits. I have 15 recruits just from my small circle that are like We're in. Can you make it after I make dinner for the kids? I was like, let me talk to Michelle.
Do that. Let's do that and make it like a night thing, and just that could be our workout. So
there you go.
Yeah. So Liz, what's the date that we're going to start it?
Well, I would love to start next Thursday, but
all right, done.
Too soon. Is that
next Thursday?
Soon?
It is next Thursday.
All right.
And I'll talk to Connor because we're going to live stream it out and
we'll
see.
Decide on the time. I think it should be a little bit later to let people kind of settle in.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. That would be good.
All right, so we will do that. Let's do next week, and we'll try it out and see and chat with Connor. But let's do right after dinner, at 8 o'clock. 8.
That might be too late. I'm thinking somewhere maybe like 6:30, 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking 7's a good time.
Yeah.
All right, let's do 7. All right, we'll try 7. All right, talk to you soon. Check your calendars. Connor, let me know, and we'll figure it out. All right, everybody.
Thanks, ladies.